All right, we got that figured out. Okay. Usually I hit mute all before we get started, then we don't hear all the background noise. But it is a Q&A, so I will have you guys mute individually when the time comes, when you have questions. But I have a couple of announcements that I want to make. And then what I want you guys to remember is all of the announcements that you might see me sharing. I just get them from the Beachbody Champions page, the Team Beachbody Coach 411 page where the National Wake Up Call is. And also in the Coach Online office, there's a breaking news section where there'll be all the announcements that are talking about on the National Wake Up Call. So you can always see those there, but I'm just going to note them real quick. November 7th is kind of like the sample of a body block. And it's with Autumn Calabrese. It's going to be called Healthy Obsession. And it starts next Monday. So I'm going to be doing that. I've actually been for about 2 weeks inviting all of my clients to come do that with me. And we actually had an incredible month last month with Success Club because there was a promotion where if you upgraded someone from their body or from their BOD account to a year access of Body and Beachbody On Demand, you could get 1 extra Success Club point. So we ended at plus over 20 SC points because I was just focused on obviously finding new clients, signed some awesome new coaches to the team as well, but I was helping my clients get converted to Body to do that with us. So I'm going to invite you guys to do that with us. And even today when I was doing my workout, I was like, I need to dial in my nutrition even more. As I was listening to the playback of the National Wake Up Call, I didn't listen yesterday. I was with my son in the mountains and then Halloween. So I listened this morning. And I listened to Autumn Calabrese, she shared, and just the word triggered me when she talked about ADD obsession and the time nutrition. I was like, the best results I ever had in my 12 years of doing these programs was when I did time nutrition. Like I was 100% dialed in. So I'm going to really dive in with Body, doing the Healthy Obsession, even though there's 60-minute workouts. I don't want to do 60-minute workouts. I'm going to get up early. I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow the meal plan. And I know this could be part of the Q&A. It might be an answer to one of your questions that comes up in the Q&A, but I know that that is what's going to help me see more success in my business, taking that action. So we can address that later if you have a question about that. So that's November 7th. Also on November 10th, am I cutting out? Let me hook onto my hotspot. I really need to change internet providers. Okay, I am on my hotspot now, so this will work a little bit better. Should go on. Okay, hopefully we don't have any interruption now. But what I was saying right there at the end was, I know that the answer to me seeing more success or getting more forward progress in my business is going to be 100% doing that, doing the Healthy Obsession, going all in with that and going all in with the meal plan as well, and just documenting it. Not trying to get all fancy with my social media or my reels or anything, but just truly just diving all in, feeling good with what I'm doing, and then sharing those results. Okay, the other 2 announcements I wanted to make real quickly. November 10th is the chocolate caramel brownie Shakeology. It's just a seasonal one. Sometimes I've seen the seasonal Shakeologies sell out really fast. Sometimes I've seen them last a few days. So if you really want to try it out, make sure that you mark your calendar for that day so that you can hop on board with that. And I think it really aligns with and is awesome with the new messaging we're having with changing the name to the company to Body, and where we're helping people enjoy a dessert every day, which is their Shakeology, and enjoying that in a way that's delicious and tastes good and is like a dessert, and helping people have clean energy. I think that's a great way for you to message that as well. You know, trying chocolate caramel brownie Shakeology and having that dessert every day. The next announcement is November 14th. The sample workout for sure thing is coming out. Those, you can always find those in your Beachbody On Demand. It'll be there, but also I find all of those on Vimeo. I just go to the Team Beachbody Vimeo page and I find them there. That's where I personally find them. The other announcement that I don't have on this list that I want you guys to do your very best to do is to get to a super weekend event this weekend. So it'll either be Friday, Saturday, or Sunday in a town near you. If you haven't been to a super weekend, just to recap, basically it's coach sponsored. So coaches in your area will be hosting an event. They usually get like a school or a dance studio or an auditorium, and these coaches have to pay for it themselves. And then they charge an entrance fee. I've seen them anywhere from $5 to $30 to get in, depending on the venue and how many people are expected to come. And then what happens there is corporate has a video, and a couple of local coaches will have someone come up and share their success story. And there'll usually be one for the business, one for the transformation. Then they'll watch the corporate video, and then there'll be an opportunity usually to do a live workout. And on the National Wake Up Call, they were talking about the importance of just being on your in your stories and showing people what happens in your business, especially when you go to live events. So I think it's really powerful for you to go to a super weekend, to chat with people and meet other coaches that are in your area, but also to show your audience like, hey, this is a real thing. This isn't just me in my house doing my workouts by myself. This is a community, and this is a business opportunity. So would love to see you guys at a super weekend event, see you guys posting up about your super weekend, tagging other members on this team about it. When you get there, I'll be driving to Salt Lake City. I'm taking my whole family on Friday night. We're going to drive down to Salt Lake City. It's 3 hours. I'll go to Super Saturday on Saturday morning. And then my wife's grandfather has a 100th birthday party that we'll be celebrating that night. And then fingers crossed that I have jury duty on Monday, that I don't have to show up. If I don't, then Chris Pandolfo and Kieran CJ Ward are coming back to Idaho with us. If not, they'll have to take a detour and they'll have to figure something else out. So, but I'm super excited about Super Weekend because it's an opportunity to get together with other coaches and for you to meet other coaches. Like, I always love what Carl Deichler is going to basically give the speech he gave to us to the whole network at Super Weekend that he gave to us at Leadership. So I recommend that you get there. And then I'm just going to open this up right now for you guys to ask any questions. This is just a Q&A call today. And Matt is going to the one down in Dallas, and he says Carl Deichler is going down to Dallas. So that's absolutely awesome. Cool. What questions you guys have? It could be about anything. It could be any question you have about building your business.
I guess I will just have you reiterate what we kind of talked about as far as, what we should be spending our time mostly on right now. I think that would be beneficial for everybody until you hit a certain level.
Yeah.
And what that looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was just on a one-on-one call with Laura right before we hopped on this call. And as you guys know, Laura is our newest diamond coach. She's been a diamond for a couple of weeks now. Mm-hmm. And she was talking about, I need to work with one of my leaders, one of my coaches, help them get to diamond so I can move my business to 1-star diamond, take that next step in growing her business. And the thing that I shared with her, and it was something that I learned that has been discussed at like the leadership retreats, like you saw us at in Phoenix. I told Laura, where you're at in your business right now, yes, it's going to be important to mentor your coaches, mentor your team, help develop that next coach to diamond. But what I shared with her is it's important that when you're doing that you don't stop doing the things that you did that got you to diamond. The business, the income producing activities, which is your business activity tracker, which is, you like reaching out, finding people, connecting with people, getting them into your challenge group, supporting them, helping them get great results, helping them fall in love with the workouts, the meal plans, the supplements, and then working on transitioning them to become a coach or a preferred customer on your team. That whole process, I was like, make sure that as you're working on helping one of your coaches get to diamond, that you don't stop doing those things. And I gave her kind of like a percentage number. And for Laura specifically at the rank of diamond, and even for the most of you guys where you're at right now, I told her you should be spending at least 80% of your time on recruiting and helping people get results in your challenge groups. And then 20% of your time in mentoring your coaches and your challengers, mentoring your coaches to get to your next coaches to get to Emerald, and your coach that you're working on getting to diamond to get to diamond. And I shared with her, and this is for each of you guys. So for you guys that might be at Emerald right now, or even just brand new at Coach, like when there's not much of a team to mentor, you guys are like 90% of your time is on those activities, finding people, getting them into your challenge group, helping them get results, and creating Beachbody advocates out of those. And then 10% into, helping your team. Like if you have one coach or two coach, 10% of your time into that. And I even shared with Laura, like even that 80-20% should probably be even all the way up till about 2-star diamond. 20% of your time mentoring and developing your coaches, 80% in recruiting, and recruiting both challengers and coaches. I love that question. Thank you, Laura. Anybody have questions on that or anything else?
Hey, Scotty.
What's up, Gio?
So just really quick, right now that the majority of the people are just focusing, of course, during the holidays and pretty much just not honestly wanting to take their health serious. I am still, of course, being consistent on my posts. I continue to reach out, but I'm still kind of getting even some people, not necessarily pushback, but just the quote unquote, I don't have time, or it's just not the right time right now because holidays are coming up. I always want to go ahead and follow up with the question is be more direct, because that's something actually that I learned from Josh Coates to be like, and of course you, is just to ask those very serious questions like, okay, tell me, why do you don't think you don't have the time? So my question is more of like, if we continue to see that the majority of people are still just focusing on holidays and then eating, but they're not really focusing on the health, what would be the best way to go ahead and make sure that I do have them, of course, continue wanting to be healthy, but also at the same time, when they do see my posts, it's like, okay, he is doing something, because I am being consistent, but I am noticing a bit of a less of engagement when I do post about the workouts. So I'm just kind of having a bit of a hard time with that.
Yeah. So that's like a loaded question with a lot of topics. So I'll try to address, and even when I answer one question, I can go for a long time. So I want to try to address it. I'm hearing, people have an excuse. It's the holiday season. There's not much, I don't have much time. That's one of the main things I hear. Number two, you as a coach are trying to add value on social media, show people how to live a healthy lifestyle, but people aren't engaging with it or people aren't seeing it. So it kind of feels like what you're doing is falling on deaf ears, right? Is there any other kind of questions there? Those are kind of the main two.
No, we can stick with that. Those are the main two.
Okay. So I might need to run and get a drink. The first one, and it's kind of funny, like when I use my social media to post, a lot of the times where I get my inspiration is from my personal development. And I'll say something and someone will be like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I needed to hear today. Well, today's post was from the National Wake Up Call. The speaker on the National Wake Up Call taught a concept of asking basically a question like, well, how can I, if something seems hard, like, okay, my clients or my prospective clients, my audience is busy. It's the holidays. They want to eat food. They want to enjoy food, whatever it is. And then like, they're just not interested, or, they're just not interested in doing what I'm doing. So instead of like making those statements, changing it to a how can I statement. So how can I help teach these people how to enjoy the holidays, but stay disciplined in healthy habits and daily activities, right? Because when you do that, you as a leader using your social media and having one-on-one conversations your mind will be open to receive the right direction and answers, or to speak boldly to them in the right way to help them still do that. Like I ate a whole ton of candy yesterday. Like I didn't want to, but I did. But how is it that I woke up, did personal development, listened to a podcast, the National Wake Up Call, did my workout, had followed my meal plan to dialed in 100% from this morning. It's like I didn't beat myself up for that choices yesterday. So we have the opportunity to teach people how to do those things. right? So I want you to ask, when you see that, to ask yourself those how can I questions. And that could be aligned also with like, none of my coaches, you could say, I'm not finding business building coaches. Like, I just can't seem to recruit a business building coach right now with how social media is, or because people are too busy, any number of things. So instead of saying that to yourself, if you say that to yourself, your mind is a genius. It's going to find all the solutions on why you can't, because you're asking that question. And Tony Robbins always says, from what I remember when I used to listen to him a lot, was like, ask better questions. And he uses the example of people being like, man, I want to make more money. And then they're frustrated because they're not at some place that they think with money, but they weren't specific in their question asking. So, God or the universe could have left a dollar bill in the parking lot, and that person found it that day. And I mean, he got what he asked for. He got more money, but he wasn't specific, asking the right questions, asking specifically what he wanted. So Gio, so along the line with the busy holiday aspect is, I would ask the right questions to yourself, but then work on asking those questions to your audience as well. So how can I help somebody enjoy Thanksgiving, enjoy all the food they want, and live a healthy and create healthy habits? And I believe you'll find a lot of your answers that way. What was the second part of that question again? The second part was, so you're sharing stuff on social media, but it's kind of falling on deaf ears. Here's the advice I want to give you guys on that. There's going to be a lot of social media experts out there. I'm not a social media expert that might be saying like, here's the trending audios, like use this audio if you want to go viral. You'll see certain people, go from 2,000 followers to 100,000 followers because they did X, Y, Z. And there's a lot of things we could talk about here, but I feel like a lot of times comparison is a huge thing. Well, you'll see somebody else that's going viral. Like, I'll even catch myself sometimes, other coaches, and I'll be like, how the heck do they have 2,000 likes on every post? I get like, I do something about health and fitness and I got 6 right now. Right? So comparison falls on all of us from time to time. So we have to catch that. So make sure, first of all, that you're not comparing. One of the biggest things that like really stood out to me, have you heard the term from Carl Daikeler since, and you guys can nod or give me a thumbs up, since the leadership retreat where he talks about the pirates? Have you guys heard that phrase? Okay, so Carl, this whole shift into body and rebranding, like eat dessert, clean energy, moving everything to body, changing it to where it always feels good to be you, as like our mission statement. All of these things, Carl Daikeler hired some people. I don't remember the exact name of the company, but they call themselves like the Pirates. And he hired them to help change the course of the company's mission and changing the name of the company and everything. And it was interesting. There's 2 guys. One of the guys, I can't remember how many, but he writes articles and stuff for all these websites and blogs and does all this stuff for them. And here, I'll do this long story short. Anyway, Carl Daikeler hired him to help make this shift in the company. I don't know the number, but can you imagine how much Carl probably paid these guys to be the consultant? It's got to be astronomical. Do you know how many social media followers that guy has on his social media? 1,000. 1,000 people. And I can't remember, it was in like the hundreds of millions of revenue that they've done as a company with 1,000 followers. So what I want to share with that is, don't try to play the social media game. Don't try to get viral. Don't try to be like so-and-so and match someone else and grow as fast as someone else and get viral videos like so-and-so, or dance like this person or whatever. Or, don't try to do that. Use your social media to add value to your specific person that you want to speak to your ideal market. Now, these pirates, their ideal market, they have got to have that dialed in to get Carl Deichler to pay whatever it costs to make all those shifts. So that's what I want you to think about when you're doing it. It doesn't take hundreds of thousands. And this is just a small example. I won't use income numbers, but in the beginning of my business, I didn't have a lot of followers. Like I spoke to an exact person, a soon to be parent or a new parent who had huge goals and dreams. They got married. They were probably within their first 5 years of marriage. And then they got to a point where they realized, like, man, like I envisioned my life being so much different, like having this incredible job, making this amount of money, having this type of house, going on these types of vacations. And it didn't happen. Like I'm working all these overtime hours. I'm seeing my family very little. And so that's the person I was. And that's the person that I was speaking to, is very dialed. You get what I'm saying? It was very dialed into that person. And I specifically remember one of my first diamond coaches, just the first conversation, I was like, you see, I'm carrying my babies in the car seat. My wife is not here. Like, I'm telling you, like, yes, I lost 38 pounds with P90X, and I believe you can lose the 50 pounds you're telling me you want to lose with Insanity if you go all in with the meal plan and you go all in with the workouts. And I'm willing to do everything in my power to help hold you accountable, because if I can help you do that, it's going to get me closer to bringing my wife home from work so that we don't have to live separate lives. So when I get home from work at 5 p.m., my wife can be there, and me and my wife and the kids can spend the evenings together, eat dinner together, go for walks together. So it was like a very specific message to a very specific person. And how did I recruit her? She basically recruited herself by saying, like, wait a minute. You're telling me, she's like, I want to do that. Like, I'm a single mom who works at the Olive Garden, and I have to drop my kid off at daycare to go work my shift. And then I have to pick her up, and someone else is raising my kid. And so I was speaking to a very specific audience. So with our social media right now, I want us to focus on, because this is something I'm focused on and that's making a huge difference, really identifying who it is that you want to help and how you can help them, what you're going to help them with. And so, Gio, I think that's going to help a lot. And then, but don't worry about how many likes or if they're engaging like you want them to or not. The more you get dialed into that, the more you're going to find and attract those right people, and they'll start engaging. Those will be your people. And that traction will start to happen where you're engaged with the right people. And he gave an example. These pirates gave an example of this brand called the Korean Vegan. And I'm going to give you this example because I kind of like put my hands up, like, as they were sharing this. I was like, but I help everybody. Like, I have some newlyweds that I just signed up. Like, they got married just months ago. And then I have Laura, right? Like, I have this huge spectrum. And so immediately, like, I threw my hands up in a metaphorically speaking at the event and been like, what? But I don't want to lose the opportunity to help the people that I've been helping by niching down to just a certain group of people. And he shared an example that helped me break free of that. And it was the Korean Vegan. It was basically like this white vegan lady married this Korean guy. Okay. So she's vegan, he's Korean. So as his wife, like, she wanted to be able to cook him meals. So she had to learn to cook Korean food, but she's also a vegan. And, in Korean barbecue, there's all kinds of meats. So she had to figure out ways to veganize, is how they worded it, his Korean meals. So she just started making these Korean vegan meals and just sharing it on social media. No intention of like growing she was just doing something that there was like one small niche, right? Korean vegan recipes. And it started to grow, and she has like a Korean vegan recipe book and all of these things. But it was a very small niche group of people that were very engaged, like Koreans that wanted vegan food. Does that make sense? But what happened is as that became so exciting, this idea of Korean vegan food, like they were so engaged with it, that niche audience, that people outside of that niche audience wanted to try it because it was so exciting, right? So now vegans that don't like Korean necessarily, or aren't Korean, want to try the Korean vegan food. And then there's Koreans They want Korean food that are like, hey, I want to try that Korean vegan. So it began to expand. And they said he kind of taught about how it sucks other people in. But you got to be patient. You got to first focus on serving your niche, your people, and then it will suck in. Like the rest will suck in. And when you guys might be looking at me, for example, I've done this for 12 years. And where you might be right now is I've served people long enough that it's sucked more people in. But in the beginning, like how I have Laura now, I have people that are my age, 40s, 50s, and I have people that are in their 20s. But in the beginning, it was just focused on that one specific market. And so I'm just going to tell you guys what I'm doing, because I want to niche down. I want to draw in new people. I want to create tons of excitement about and energy around what we're doing. I'm speaking to, when you see my social media, I'm speaking to newlyweds, soon to be parents, and people with young kids. And that's who I'm speaking to on my audience. But other people are going to love that concept as well, as I serve and help those people. And I'm going to tell you guys, I've started doing that, and they're not on here live because they work full-time jobs, but I have a new coach, John and Carrie Simsek. They are newlyweds. They don't have kids yet, but they are the most engaged, doing absolutely everything I tell them, people I've seen in the past couple of years. Like every day, like doing something like, hey, I got my business activity tracker printed out. Do I start that, or do I wait until we do our getting started right call? And then they went and bought their groceries last night and did a post about their groceries on social media, and then wrote me today like, I'm not quite understanding this on my 21-day fix meal plan. Can you guide me in this? So it's just really engaged, excited people, but they were attracted in a way because I'm speaking to that audience. Does that make sense? So, but what's going to happen is as they get results and I speak to those people and they come in, the energy will grow. That ball of energy will grow, and it will pull people in that are outside of that niche. And I decided specifically, and this is so you can kind of look and decide who your niche is. I just asked some questions to some of our Star Diamond leaders in our team. And I was like, I just asked questions, and this is something you can do. Beth gave this advice as well. She gave away some prizes on her social media. I can't remember if it was Energize or what it was, but she did a poll on her social media. What do you learn from me? Why do you come to my page? So she could really understand who are the people that were coming and engaging, and what did they want? What did they come there for? So I asked my coach, I'm going to do that on my social media to dial in a little bit more. But I was chatting with them and I was like, when did you first, as your upline, as they're not all my PS coaches, I was like, what did you like to learn from me? Or when did you first start, what stage of your life were in when you started to learn from me? And what did you come to me for? And a lot of them were like my positive mindset, vision, consistency. But I asked 8 people, all 8 of them had young kids that were under the age of 5. And these are top Star Diamond leaders. I was like, okay, there's my target mark. Cause they're all, they got kids in their teens like me now, but when they first started going with me, that's the person they were. That's the person that I was speaking to and attracted in. So I want you guys to work on identifying who is your target market, what do they need help with, and how can you help them out? And there is a great podcast. I had Gio listen to that. I put it in the Dynasty Strong team page. Gio listened to it and then reported back to me. Wanted to have a conversation about some of that stuff. Cool. Gio, I told you I could go forever on these answers. Now, on that subject, anybody have questions about that or concerns or?
Wait, I missed something. You said you shared a podcast with Gio and he listened to it. What was that? What podcast was that?
Let me see if I can find it right now. I can't.
I want to know. Inquiring minds.
Yeah, Beth Isbell sent it to me. So I'm going to find it for you right now. I'm in my text opening it. And I'm going to put it in the comments. It's Rory Vaden with Ed Milet. And it's in the chat right now if you copy it. I'm going to copy something else in there that Beth shared with me. It's basically her notes with a bunch of questions. But I can tell you what, since listening to these podcasts and starting to answer these questions and dialing in my, oh, it's not copying, must be too long. If anybody wants the questions or the notes of Beth's, just send me a private message on Facebook or text. I'll text them to you. But it's really, dialing in on this has really helped me. Like when I sit down to write my post, like before I was just like, what can I throw out there and hope it sticks or hope it adds value to somebody? But right now it's really intentional. I'm just going to show you, I'm going to give you guys an example. I'm going to pull it up right now and show you, along with some other tips I learned at Leadership about sharing your message. This one really got me. So let me share my screen.
Can I
Okay.
ask you, have you ever read, is it Kendra Holmes books, Stories That Stick? Has
Yep,
anybody read that?
I have, yeah, I have that one.
Is that, would you recommend that one?
Yes, I absolutely would.
Okay,
Love that book.
'cause I have it. I have not read it. I'm one of those, I'll buy the book and then it sits on my shelf.
Yeah, I would definitely read that one. So since we're kind of on I think this is an important topic for our Q&A today, because we as a team, myself included, are not recruiting like we should. The number of customers, the number of coaches. So, and that comes down to, we're not reaching the right people. And then once we reach them, obviously we got to get them on board. One of the things that stood out to me where I was like, oh crap, I'm doing this wrong, was as these branding, these branding guys, the pirates, we'll call them, one of the points they put out is, you can't be the hero of your own posts. Make your reader the hero. And I was like, oh my gosh, because my style of teaching is storytelling. You know, I tell the school bus story. Who's the hero in that story? Me. I tell the story of sitting in my cubicle right after my third daughter was born. Who's the hero? Me. Like, I'm the hero of my stories. And they said, make sure that your reader is the hero, so that when they read it, they're reading it as if it's them, happening to them. So I'll show you guys kind of how, and just having that clarity has helped me with my posts as well. See how I'm speaking to my right audience, and then I'll just read it to you. I just can't get out of living paycheck to paycheck. So my reader is reading that. And I would say, have you ever caught yourself saying something like that? I'm going to teach you a quick mindset hack to help you step into the next level of your life. Instead of saying it's too hard, I can't, people just won't use this phrase. How can I? How can I earn some extra money? How can I find great leaders? How can I create better engagement in my team? How can I lose 10 pounds? How can I quit smoking? And I just put, I want to hear new how can I statements. I'm going to show you another one. Where is it? Oh, like this is short, but it's like, you're right where you're meant to be to inspire those only you can inspire. Sometimes you want to be further than you are. I'm speaking to someone specifically. Nothing about me getting to spend more time with my kids. Okay, here's the one I wanted to find. This is actually a post from a few years ago. Like, I wrote a post about how our washer and dryer broke, and how grateful I was for this business that I could just, without worrying about it, and how I used to worry, go buy a new set, tell my wife to go buy a set, right? Who's the hero in that story? Me. I did the work. Look at me. I built this business. I got to do this. So I took that same post and I just shifted all the words, and I want to show you how different it is. Like, I use quotes. Baby, we need a new washer and dryer. You. Okay, let's pull $20 out of every paycheck, and then when Black Friday or Christmas deals come, let's go get a new set. You're newlywed or have young kids and have big dreams, but somehow you find yourself trapped in the circle of endless hours of work, overtime, and no money left over at the end of the month to do what you want. It's frustrating because you know you're a hard worker and a great human. Take a deep breath. Now see yourself responding like this. Baby, just go pick out the set you want now. I've been working hard on my business and we're seeing progress. that feeling will make all the sacrifices, all the no's, all the rejection, working your business late at night, early in the morning, and in the pockets of your time more than worth it. I see you, my friend. Say yes. Go on the trip. Go visit your grandmother. Go build a business. Go say you love that person. Go say you're sorry. Say yes to the opportunity. You've got one life, my friend, and you're going to achieve those goals and dreams. Okay, so see how it's like one post, I was the hero, but the next post, I wrote it as if that person could see themselves going through that scenario. Just kind of see that shift. So when you're sharing, adding value, make sure that your ideal audience is the hero. Let's see. Eman says, yes, I love that. One of the other things I did as well, I was the hero in my Instagram bio as well. It was like, we build winners and champions, whatever earner, right? All of these accomplishments, building a superstar diamond team. Like that doesn't mean, I love that I had those ambitions, but that doesn't speak anything to my audience. When they come there, my audience doesn't know if they're a part of it or not. So I just simplified it. It's my new one says, I help you as a new parent who's overworked, underpaid, and underappreciated to reignite your dreams, feel good today, and build successful habits. So just really dialing in that. Okay. Any other, what other questions do we have? I see Laura taking her vicious notes. I love it. Any other questions for today?
Can I welcome Beth to the call?
Absolutely.
Beth is Jamie's new coach. She just signed up last month. We're so happy you're here.
Absolutely. Welcome to the team, Beth. We're happy that you're here with us. Awesome.
I want to share a quote that goes really nice with what you shared, Scotty, about the hero thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Because people don't need to be saved or rescued. They need knowledge of their own power and how to access it. With that quote in mind, I've been running a book club using a book called The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And my whole focus of that group was teaching people to listen to their own inner power. So rather than, I kept letting them know, I am not the teacher. I am not here to give you all the answers. We are here to, like I can guide the experience, but when it comes down to it, the answers that we all need are within. And so being able to listen to our own inner knowing and our own power. So yeah, I love that you brought that up because I want to make sure I'm aligning my posts in that way. This specific free book club that I was doing, I really was intentional about helping them see that they are their own teacher. So
I love that. Thank you, Shaylee. And for those of you guys who don't know, Shaylee is one of our star diamonds on this team. And she's a school teacher, so she's probably in between classes right now.
we have no students today.
Oh, perfect.
They planned that good with Halloween.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Shaylee, can you, let's see. Iman wanted to know what the name of the book was again and who the author is.
Oh, I'm doing a book called The Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. And I was doing a free book club with a checklist where they could do whatever workouts they wanted, gratitude daily and meditation. I was trying to follow the 75 hard model where you get to pick your own movement and your choice of nutrition, like whatever your nutrition goals were. And then we ran that for 21 days using the book. So 10 pages of reading per day. So.
And Dan, who? Dan
Millman.
Millman, M-I-L?
Yep, 2 L's.
Oh, 2 L's. Okay. And so did you on that have, were you doing like a weekly Zoom call like we were doing with our other book clubs that we've done? Or how did you do that?
Yeah, so every Wednesday and Sunday we were supposed to meet. Sundays didn't work out that great because it was overlapping the holiday, but the Wednesday calls were really powerful. And I felt that it's a way that I could reach out to people. I like free groups because they're a way to really get people involved without the money commitment, so they can see the power of the community.
Yes, that's awesome.
I love that idea.
I do too. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I know, Laura, you're itching for another book club, so we'll have to get one.
Well, I'm happy to share all my posts. I have everything saved. So I'm happy to share all my posts from the 21 days. And the book is exactly 210 pages long. So it does fit nicely in a 21-day window. So
Awesome. Eman, I don't know. Are you able to talk? If not, that's fine. Emmanuel asked, what is the first thing I can focus on when I feel like I keep falling off track? I want to invite someone else on here to answer that. If I was going to ask Eman, but I don't know if he's at work and can talk or not. I was going to ask him what he thinks. But do any of you guys have some tips that work for you? What is the first thing I can focus on when I feel like I keep falling off track?
What is he falling off track with? His nutrition, his fitness, or his business? What is
Okay,
he
hi.
falling-
Oh,
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, my man.
Okay. So I've been juggling between building body coaching and my author business, but I want to kind of blend the two. But every time I try to start building my body coaching, I get redirected back. So it's like I'm kind of like confused of like, what do I do first if I want to build it together? Is kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. How do you see them working together?
Mainly because personal development is part of building a business, right? Like we always talk about it. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. And now that we're kind of having the conversation, it goes back to the foundation of being proof of the product. That's the first thing that's coming to my head.
Yeah.
Right.
So am I hearing your answer is the first thing you can focus on is being proof the products?
I guess that's it. Is that it?
Look at you with your own genius, like Shaylee shared.
That's true.
Love it. I love it. Yeah. So yeah, you nailed that on the head. Just focusing on your own journey of being proof the products work. I can't tell you the number of times, being a coach for 12 years, lots of customers, lots of coaches. Sometimes coaches will go off the deep end or leave or whatever, like tons of things going on. And so it could feel, and having 5 kids and a wife and vacation rental, everything can feel overwhelming. So you could wake up and be like, because give you an idea, there's some days, like, for example, our business we could be an 8-star diamond and then a couple of people drop rank and we could be a 1-star diamond. And it could be thousands of dollars, let's say. So I could wake up and be like, oh, this is overwhelming. Like, what do I do? Like, where do I even start? Right? It could feel overwhelming like that. And the one thing that I do is just always go back to just do the basics. And the basics for me, wake up, drink my pre-workout in my Shakeology, read 15 minutes in my personal development book, push play on my workout, get on my social media, teach something that I learned in my personal development or some thoughts I had during my workout, and then just start reaching out to people and helping. So like, that's the thing I do to focus. It's not necessarily falling off track, but it's feeling like overwhelmed. So, but I guess looking at that, like I could relate what I do with my nutrition. And I said it at the beginning of the call, like I ate Little Caesars last night and I ate Butterfingers and everything you could think of while walking with the kids. And then, so that's off track, right? I fell off track. So what did I do this morning? I just make the decision. I'm never going to beat myself up for making a mistake. And so I'm just going to do the next best things I know how to do. Took my first thing, drank my pre-workout and my Shakeology, and I did an 80-day obsession workout and listened to the National Wake Up Call. And then here we are on the team call, right? Doing the business with the right energy. So don't beat yourself up for falling off track or making a mistake. And I think that goes for your business as well. Let's say you get on track. You're like, I'm going to build this business. You do your business activity tracker Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then something happens on Friday, work's overwhelming, your kid gets sick, any number of things, and you don't do your business activity. Maybe you only did your workout and drank your shake, and then the rest of your day just went out the door. What I see too often is people beat themselves up like, oh, I was on such a streak and then I messed it up. And then you feel guilty or ashamed, like I always fall off track. You can go back and ask yourself that one question we kind of talked about before, like, what can I do? And then just do the next best thing. That would be my advice. Take the next step in the right direction. Does that help you out?
Yes, that was huge. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I think even like working on building your two businesses, like I have someone I'm working with right now that is overwhelmed. They're not a Beachbody coach, but they're in my challenge group. She's an author. She works a full-time job and she's trying to do her workouts. And she keeps falling off track on her workouts, not staying consistent with it. So we've been working on building that habit. And then she was building the habit and then she missed some days. And she came to me like, I just get overwhelmed. I missed my workout. I can't believe that I missed that workout. And I was like, so what if you missed it? Like, let's just do the next one tomorrow. Like, it's okay. You don't have to start over. Just do the next workout. And let's remember what we talked about before, that when you do your 30 minutes of working out, you'll have more mental clarity and your writing will be better. So, yep, never beat yourself up. Okay. We got about 5 more minutes if anybody has any more questions. If not, we can wrap it up.
I think one of my struggles is that, so I was selling a challenge pack last night, and I feel like, right now I was trying to get people for the Healthy Obsession to do that.
Correct.
But I really think this girl would have benefited from Gut Protocol, but it just felt like there wasn't something that was all encompassing in order to get her going. Like if I guess what I'm trying to say is, even if I would have got her body for a whole year of streaming of body, she still wouldn't have had Gut Protocol. But then when I get her Gut Protocol, she still didn't have the gear that she would need for Healthy Obsession. And I found myself kind of feeling like sometimes there's not something that I don't want to sign them up for only part of what I'm doing. If I'm doing the Healthy Obsession with Gut Protocol, I didn't find an easy way to add Gut Protocol without it being like way more expensive. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I can address this kind of in a couple ways. This is what I would do. First of all, I think back to when I started, and we've gotten a little complicated in the whole shift going into March of next year, changing to Body, not having BOD and Body, but just one platform, Body. All of these shifts are to help bring back a lot of the simplicity that was before. But what I want, this is just an example from my past when I started. Like, I was a P90X diehard. Like, it was P90X and then get a weighted vest, like, and just kept making it harder and harder. Absolutely. I've never done Insanity from start to finish, but some people loved cardio and loved Insanity. And even though I was doing P90X and maybe a lot of my audience was doing P90X, if they loved that hardcore Insanity, that hardcore cardio type workout, I got them into the package what they needed, right? Which was just Insanity and their Shakeology. And another thing to think of back then is a lot of times I think, and it's kind of this, it's a mindset thing. Like, I don't want to get them into something that's too expensive. That's a mindset thing that we have to work on. Because even if you did bundle 4-week health protocol, the Body membership with BOD and Shakeology, it's not too expensive for what they're going to get from it if they use it 100%, if they dive in and use it, right?
Right.
Because back in the day, like, I would sell someone Shakeology and P90X, and then 3 months later, they would buy, if they stayed on the Shakeology, they would buy a whole nother DVD set of Insanity for $120. And then when they want to try something else, they buy a whole new DVD set for $120 of Turbo Fire. So people are willing to pay for something if they're going to use it and get results from it. So I think that's a mindset thing to maybe work on a little bit. That's one side. That's the mindset side of it. Now the technical side, bundling, the way I would have bundled it is I would have just went into Total Solution Packs. I would have done, I just would have done the 4-week gut protocol with Beachbody On Demand, Shakeology, and then I would have just clicked the box, which would have added $60 for them to get the body. That's just what I would have done.
Yeah, I guess because her focus was nutrition and not workouts, I think that's where I was trying to decide if the live workouts would be helpful for her, because she was going to be mostly going to the gym.
Yeah.
Anyway, and where finances was a concern for her, I don't know. I just kind of feel like I can be a little hesitant to sell body if I feel like they're not going to use the live workouts.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, so in that case, or in any case, this is for anybody, is get somebody. Obviously, we sometimes know that if they did a little bit more, they would love it. For example, I don't always get everybody into Shakeology, Energize, all the things that I'm taking all up front. I get them in with what I think will help them best with what they need, get them to fall in love with that. And then as they're in love with that, then they can get the other things they might need as the time comes. So in that case, if she's struggling financially, I would just do the very basics to get her results, which would have been your Excess Beachbody On Demand with the 4-week gut protocol and your $20 off promo code. And she's like $160, $150, whatever that comes to.
okay, that makes sense. Will gut protocol be on body in the future or no?
That'll always be a standalone, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. And then I think I know you're coming to Super Weekend in Salt Lake with us. Hearing from Carl, like I'm kind of the same way. When I was using Body before, like I can't tell you how many customers I sold Body to before. I was paying the $19.99 a month for it. I had the bike. I didn't do the live classes. I was just kind of doing it because I had the bike and if I wanted to do a class. But I wasn't sold on it myself. I didn't use it myself. So why am I going to sell that to somebody else? But now, just after being at Leadership and seeing the price come down to where if you buy the year membership, it's only $5 a month, and knowing that, and for me, simplicity is going to be very duplicatable inside of the business. I'm going to be all on board with having people they're not live workout. The body blocks are not live workouts, not necessarily live. They're done kind of in real time, but they're not like live recording it as you're there. So I'm going to be doing the body blocks with my clients, do 1 month. And then the next month, we know we're going to the next body block. And the next month we're going to the next one. So just knowing that I'm all on board with it and I'm going to do it with them. And then secondly is that they're going to be adding on personal development mindset inside of the Body app as well with that membership. I'm like 100%. Even if it was just $5 extra for my clients to log into their Body app and be able to, and Carl might explain some of this at Super Weekend, it's going to ask them a question when they log in, like, how are you feeling? And they might feel unmotivated, tired, sluggish. And there's going to be mindset development videos and tools that are going to help direct your client on what to do.
Okay. Yeah, I think Super Weekend will help clarify everything, because no matter what, they're probably going to have to pay $30 more per block unless they're getting auto shipment. Is that correct?
Yeah, if they're on auto ship, they get each block opened.
Okay.
But also the other thing to understand about that too, yes, they can, if they're not on auto ship, they can buy the block for $30. But they'll also work just as VIP early releases have worked over the past couple of years. After 6 months or so, they'll come on for free for everybody.
Oh, good. That's awesome
It's
to
not
know.
like you're forced to be on Home Direct or pay $30 or you're not doing them. It'll just be like now how Fire and Flow just came onto BOD.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
After Super Weekend, I'm sure I'll understand everything even better.
Yeah, that's totally okay. That's what we're all here for. Cool. Awesome. Well, we're at the hour and I have a phone call right now with Jen Greenberg, one of our longtime Star Diamonds. So I need to hop off the call, but I'm super grateful that you guys were here. And guys, use the team page. If there's a question you have during the week or you don't understand something, you can't figure it out in the Coach FAQ, put it in the team page. And that way we can make sure that you guys, none of us are confused and we kind of know what we're supposed to be doing. Okay. All right. We'll see you guys later.